Mr. Turner is one of those films that I watched and just immediately thought, that is beautiful. It's a lovely biopic film about J.M.W. Turner, the really brilliant British painter, very well known for painting ships, which is not my kind of art. I prefer things a bit more scenic. But I didn't really know much about his history or his background, or really who he was as a person, as an artist. I'd seen his paintings before. I think I've seen a couple in the flesh, but I didn't really know where he was painting from, what was in his heart and in his mind. And I think this film really helps to open that up. And I think the main thing that carries this film is the cast, or the casting, rather. It's written and directed by Leigh, and it stars Timothy Spall as Turner, and Spall is fabulous. And I did think, am I going to be able to see him as anything other than Wormtail? Because even in Sweeney Todd, he plays the beetle, and he still reminds me so much of Wormtail. But in this completely different character, completely different approach. And while I said I know nothing about Turner as an artist, I do think he did a brilliant portrayal. If you are a big Turner fan or a Turner expert, you may think that there were some inaccuracies. And if that is the case, I'd be really fascinated to know what those were, so I could kind of correct some things in my own brain. But I thought the casting was brilliant. The narrative development was nice. It was a little bit slow at some points, but Turner gives off this more kind of sombre approach to life, and his paintings are very delicate, and I think the pacing worked on some levels. And for the most part, the pacing was fine, but just a few bits, it was a little bit slow. There could have been a few things left out of it. But for the most part, I felt fully immersed in this painter's journey. I do love any film about an artist, because me, as a writer, I will make it clear now, I have no physical creative skills. I cannot paint, I cannot draw, I can barely write. My handwriting is so despicable. But to watch this artist create and just watch him work is so lovely and so heartwarming. And I think it really immerses you in the time very well. And we get to see quite a lot of his paintings. None of them really caught my eye as something that I really wanted to own. But that didn't stop me from enjoying the film, and certainly he had an immense amount of talent. As a character, is he fascinating? Yes. It's quite a long film. We do get to have a lot of time to get to know him and try to understand him. He's quite complex. Are there other artists I would have preferred to see a biography about? Yes, absolutely. But I know Turner is also very popular with a lot of people. So from a selfless perspective, I'm glad this has been made, because it is very enjoyable and very educational, and sometimes very surprising and quite emotional, and it takes some turns that I wasn't expecting. So it does kind of keep you engaged. It is a very long film. It's definitely over 2 hours. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you enjoy biopics or films about artists, definitely for you. If you're a fan of Timothy Spall, and for whatever reason you haven't had a chance to see this, I thoroughly recommend it. Great performance, pretty decent narrative development, visually a treat, and really just a beautiful, beautiful film.